Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. So today's session will go with the one more concept in web technology, that is selectors. So how many ways we can apply the CSS. So here commonly the selector is a tag in HTML, right? So we can apply the CSS for the particular tags. So in that we have seen one type of CSS, that is internal CSS, so that we have to include the style tag inside the head of the HTML page, right? So in that style tag we can apply the CSS for particular tags by specifying the tag names. So like that, how many ways we can apply the CSS for the tags, that we will cover in this session, right? So let us move on to the session. Selectors. So coming to the selectors, there are different ways to apply the CSS to the selectors. So selector is a tag, HTML tag, right? So the first one is directly using the name of the tag. Okay, by using a tag name, we can apply the CSS. We can apply the CSS. For example, so let us take the code. So this is the code. I am taking some HTML and then some head. Okay, inside the head we have to write the style, and inside the style we have to write the CSS, and close the style tag and close the head tag, open the body tag. So inside the body we can apply the different data. Okay, we can apply the different data. And after that, close the body tag, close the HTML tag. Okay, so this is a normal structure. Okay, so here we have to apply the CSS, and here we have to apply the normal text. What is the content we need to apply or we need to display on the web page. And first one is applying the CSS with the help of a tag names. Okay, for example, if our body, I just want to give some h1 and welcome. Close h1. Okay, I just want to display this kind of text, and I just want to apply the CSS for this tag h1. So wherever we are writing this h1, so for everything the particular CSS will be applied. For example, here by using the tag name, here we have to specify direct tag. So h1. So h1 is nothing but a tag, right? So these are the tag names, followed by open braces, and here we have to apply the CSS. What type of beautification should be done on this, that should be written here. So I just want to go with the background color. See, background color colon, just go with the red. I'm going with the red. Okay, and if you want to give a multiple attributes, put the semicolon. Go with the one more attribute, color yellow, close, color yellow. Now in our body, wherever we are writing this h1, for that particular content, this style will be applied. That means here the welcome will be having a background color red and the font color yellow. That will be displayed on this web page, right? So we are applying the CSS to the tag by using the tag name. Okay, by using the tag name. So for example, if you write one more h1 and we are writing some other text, so the same style will be applied for that particular tag also, that particular content also, right? So that means we have to give directly a tag name, like h1, okay, paragraph, h2, etc. So like this we can give anything. Okay, directly we have to go with the tags. And the second one is ID based. Okay, ID based selector. So ID based selector means, so in the previous sessions we have covered one session, that is a general purpose attributes. In the general purpose attributes we have covered two attributes, that is ID and class. So for every tag, these are the common properties. the common attributes. For every tag we can specify one ID and a class. Okay, so what is the purpose of using this ID and class? So we can apply the CSS based upon the ID or a class. So here you can observe second example. If I just want to give the based upon ID, so instead of here I have to give ID, right? See, h1, go with the ID attribute. ID is equal to, give some heading, some ID, some name, any name. Close this one, write some text here and close the h1. Close the h1. And here, instead of giving h1 tag name, we have to give the class name, ID name. Okay, instead of giving the tag name, here we have to give the ID name. Here ID is head. So here we have to write head. But it is an ID. So we have to specify with a hash symbol. So we have to prefix the IDs with a hash symbol. Hash ID so and so. So wherever you have given this ID, for all the content the same text, same style will be applicable. For example, after that one, you are writing some paragraph. So here also I am giving the same ID. ID is equal to head. ID is equal to head. Okay, I am writing here HTML. I am closing the paragraph. So here both the welcome and HTML will be applied with the same styles because both are having the same ID, head. So first it will search for the ID and this particular style will be applicable for all the content which is placed under this ID. Okay, this is all about our second way of applying the style sheets. And the third one is class based. Similar to our ID based, the thing is class based. So here also the class is also a general purpose attribute for all the tags. For each and every tag we can use the common attribute called a class or ID. So similarly here, instead of giving ID, go with the class. Okay, so h1 class head. P ID head. Okay, here go with the one more thing, head1. Okay, head1. So h1 class head1, welcome. P ID head HTML. So here I have to go with the head1. Same, apply the same thing or just give the font color. Color is equal to some green. So the font color will be green, for which we are giving the class as ID head1. Okay, class as head1, right? But here, in order to represent that class, we have to specify it as a dot. We have to specify with a dot. Dot head1. That means a head1 is a class, not an ID. If you specify hash, it is a ID but not a class. Okay, for everything there is a representation. So here we have to use a hash symbol. Here we have to use a dot symbol. Class dot symbol. And the fourth category is universal selector. So universal selector means, so irrespective of the tag, for everything the style will be applicable. Okay, irrespective of the tag. So if I want to display all the content of my web page in a green color except the thing which I have written in h1. Okay, so I have written some paragraphs and h1. Everything should be written, or everything should be appeared in some green color. Okay, and only h1 tag should be displayed in a different color. So for that one, I will give h1 class head, and here I am not giving anything. So P, HTML and so on. So whatever the content we can write here, and here instead of writing here head, go with the star. Don't write anything. Okay, we should not write anything. Just by placing star followed by the CSS, this CSS will be applicable for all the tags. Okay, all the tags. Okay, so here h1 we are having some class head1 and we are writing some CSS for this head1. So this star will not be applicable for this h1. And here P, paragraph tag. So here in the paragraph tag we are not giving any ID or a class, right? So that's why this universal selector will be applied for this P tag, paragraph tag. That means this style will be applicable for all the content without any ID or a classes, right? So this is how we can use the universal selector. That means a star. There's a star. And the next one is grouping of selector, grouping selector. Okay, group selector. So group selector means if more than one thing I just want to apply the same thing. See, for example, I just want to give the same background color same background color, and this is applied for H1 and this is applied for H2. H1, H2 are the headings, heading tags. Okay, I am just given here H1 and this HTML I should represent, I just want to represent it in H2. Okay, so H1 we are representing welcome, H2 we are representing some HTML, right? So for both the things I just want to see, for both the tags I just want to apply the same style. That means for H1 I just want to create some red background with a yellow foreground, and for H2 also the content should be displayed with a red background and yellow foreground. In such cases we need not repeat the same thing. We can group the two tags by using the comma, H1 comma H2. So simply we can group the tags for which we have to apply the same style by differentiating with the comma. So here I just want to apply the same thing for H1 tag and H2 tag. So I am grouping them by using a comma, H1 comma H2, giving the same thing, so that the same style will be applied for all the tags which are grouped here. So not only the two tags, we can give a multiple tags. We can group a multiple tags with the same style sheet. Okay, if all the content should be same, we can directly go with this universal selector. If all the content should be having the same style, we just simply go with the universal selector, right? So these are the different ways how we can apply the CSS to the tags. First one, by using the tag name, directly by using the tag name we can apply the CSS, and the second one ID based. For every tag there is a common attribute called ID, so we can give the ID and based upon the ID we can specify the CSS. And similarly class based is similar to ID. Every tag will be having the class name, okay, class attribute. We can give a name for the class, and by using the class name we can apply the CSS. And the next one is a universal selector. If all the content should follow the same style, we can directly go with the same this universal selector, that is a star. It comes with all the tags. It will be applicable for all the tags. And the next one is a grouping selector. If more than one tag need to follow the same style, we'll go with this grouping. We'll group all the similar tags which will follow the same style by separating with the comma. So this is how we'll use the selectors to apply the CSS style sheets, right? So hope you understood. We'll move on to the system. I will execute each and every concept, that is the tag name, ID based, class based, universal selector and a grouping selector. We'll create one web page and I will show you the differences among all these things, right? So let us move on to the computer. Hello friends, just now we have seen different types of selectors. So now we'll implement one by one. So first let us take a notepad and we'll see the first type of selector, that is applying the CSS with the help of a tag name. Okay, so for this we'll use internal CSS. So HTML, and coming to the internal CSS, we have to write the style tag in the head tag, right? So in the style we have to go with the tag name, so let it be H1, and if you are applying the H1, so the color should be a background color. We'll go with the background color. Okay, background color should be some green. Okay, green, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color should be some green. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you give the color, it will be a font. Okay, font, and the font color. Okay, just if you So here we have to assign by using colon, right? Not is equal to color yellow. So I am closing this one. See, I am closing the style tag, head tag. I am writing. I have to write the things in a body, right? So I am giving some h1. Welcome to Selectors. Name based. Okay, so name based. We are just taking the name based. So I'm closing the h1. I'm closing the body and HTML. So I have to save this one. So I will save this one in the CSS folder, so which we have created in the previous sessions, right? So we'll save all these files in the same thing. So in the HTML folder, we are having some CSS, and in the CSS, I'll save the name as selectors.html. So our file has been saved at the location. So just open that, and we will, by double clicking on that selectors.html, it will be executed in the web browser. Let us see. Yeah, you can see here. So this is a normal thing. This is a normal thing which we have studied in the internal CSS, right? So we are just giving the name, and beside the name we are giving the CSS. So what are the attributes we want to apply, that should be given here itself. That is based upon the tag name. So here we are directly giving the tag name. Okay, tag name. Okay. And this is the first and a basic thing. So how to apply the CSS based upon the tag name. And the second category is based upon the ID. So in our previous sessions, we have taken one session called the general purpose attributes. In that we have seen the ID and a class, two attributes. So those two attributes will be used to apply the CSS, right? So here we can see, if it is a ID based, here we have to use hash h2, okay, hash h2, and apply the same, give the attributes background color black, color white. Okay, I'm just giving the h2, hash h2. Okay, so here I just want to go h2, and here we have to use the parameter id is equal to, so here we can go with the head2. Okay, head2, right? So here also we have to pass that id, so head2, and here we can write welcome to Selectors ID based. Okay, ID based. So I am closing the h2. You can observe here. We'll execute this one, and we'll check this one. See, you got it, right? You got it. So this is the h2. So h1 is somewhat bigger and h2 is somewhat small, and here we are giving. So whenever you go with the code, see, the second one is a ID based. Whenever you are using the ID as an attribute for any tag, based upon the ID we can apply the CSS by just prefixing as a hash symbol. So if you give the hash, that implies this is an ID. So it will search for the ID, so it suits in the h2. So here it will be applied. So background color black and color white. The font color is white. And this is about the ID attribute. And the next one is a class. Okay, class. Now we'll see class. So class means here we have to suffix with a dot. Okay, dot class name. Okay, head3. Okay, and background color some blue, color white. Okay, this is head 3. This is nothing but a class based. Okay, so similar to our ID, whenever we are giving some this one, see h1 class is equal to, here we have to give that one head 3. Okay, head 3. See, welcome to selectors, class based. So we can have a multiple classes here. We can write multiple classes here. h1. See, you can observe here, if you execute this one, we'll get the same thing. So h1. Okay, so let it be, this is also h1. Let us take this one also h1. See, you can observe in all these 3 cases we are writing only one tag, that is h1, but we are getting a different style sheets. Okay, styles, different styles. So because the first one is based upon the tag, so h1 is here, so based upon the tag it will be applied. And the second one we are giving some id is equal to head 2, so that's why it will go for the head 2, so it is head 2 here, so this will be applied for this one. And the third one we are creating some class, and we are passing this class name in the this one. Okay, so if it is a id, we have to prefix with the hash. If it is a class, we have to prefix with the dot. Okay, so one class may have a multiple this one. Okay, so we can have a multiple IDs, different classes. Okay, and the next one is a universal selector. Universal selector. So universal selector means the rest of the thing, whatever the tags it may be, for everything it will be applied here. Okay, background. Let it be color some red. Okay, I'm giving color red. So whatever the tag we are writing other than this class or id or any tag, so remaining things, see, I'm not giving any other things, just I'm writing here welcome to selectors universal selector. Okay, so you can observe here, so we got in a red color. Okay, red color, that means we are not specifying any heading or any other tag here, but so that's why it will go with the universal style sheet. Okay, universal style sheet. So star means it will be applicable for everything, so for which we are not specifying the attributes, so for everything it will be applied. So this red will be applied. Okay, unless you specify with any class or id or a tag, the rest of the things will be applied for this red. Okay, and also next, the last one is a grouping. If I want to go with the grouping, okay, we can get a multiple one. So h2. Okay, I'm giving some welcome to selectors grouping. Okay, so I'm going with the h2. I'm closing the h2, and again I'm taking the h3. h3. Okay, welcome to selectors. This is also a grouping. Okay, grouping. I want to close the h3. So see, if you execute this one, h2 doesn't have any style and h3 doesn't have any style, so automatically the red will be displayed. Okay, the text will be displayed on red. You can observe here. See, red. Okay, and if I want to group all those things, that means h1 comma h2, give the names or a class or id, whatever it may be. Okay, h2, so go with the background color brown, color yellow. Okay, so I'm grouping different tags. So I'm grouping here h1 and h2, and I just want to apply this style for all the content which was written under these 2 tags. Okay, now you can observe here, if I execute this one, see, you got it here. Okay, sorry, I have given a wrong thing. H2 comma H3. Okay, H2 comma H3. So I have to go with this one. See, yeah, you can observe here. These two are a group. So H2 and H3 tags are grouped. Okay, so for multiple tags also we can give a single style. So that can be grouped with the help of a comma. Okay, so these are the different types or different ways we can apply the selectors. We can apply the CSS based upon the selectors. The first category is the name, so we can directly give the name of a tag so that the content which was written under that name will be having this particular style. And second one is a ID, so ID based. So ID based means we have to give an ID as an attribute for the tag, and we have to specify one name, and that name should be used in the style tag in order to apply the style. And the third one is a class based. So here also similar to ID, we have to give the classes. Okay, and the next one is this universal selector. Universal selector means all the things other than the specific class or ID or any tags, all the remaining text or all the remaining content will be applied with this particular style. And the next one is a grouping. So we can combine two or more tags, and we can apply the same style for those group, right? So for that purpose we are going with the grouping selector. So just by using a comma we can group different tags to apply the CSS, right? So hope you understood this one. So these are the different types of selectors. So these many ways we can give. So as I have said earlier, in the general purpose attributes, ID and class are used for applying the CSS. So this is the example for those general purpose attributes, right? So hope you understood the session. If you really understood my session, like my session, and if you are having any doubts regarding this one, so feel free to post your doubts in the comment section, so that definitely I will try to clarify all your doubts. And share my session with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much.